Okay, now, so today we are going to introduce your new concept of instrumentation. Basically, in your control, uh, we are using a different type of instruments. They are very popular. They are they are basically based on certain applied some modifications. So we have a different name. So these are basically we will cover in this instrumentation part, and we will talk first about the fundamental. Then we will do some. We will talk about the modification that is applied. So we have a different name, uh, different name, and by the different you can say applications. So we have basically, as you know, in instrumentation we have the measured variable, and these are basically temperature, pressure, level, L for level, and flow rate. So these are basically the four main measuring variable in any control or any process. So we have a method. We can directly measure the variable, or we can indirectly measure the method variable. So we have basically the two method, direct and indirect method. So indirect method, basically you can say these are known as the physical dimensions, right? Just like if you are measuring temperature, so means it has certain units, degree centigrade, right? uh, Pressure, so you have if some physical dimensions, we can directly measure that. And indirect method, basically we basically measure in terms of other variable, other known some physical properties, and from there we can say we can report about the values. So quality of the product, you can say, just like a bacteria in the milk. So that can be measured in other uh, properties, and that can be reported. So criteria for of selection of measuring instruments, basically we have certain guidelines. First thing, how accurate we want to measure. So based on this, we have a different type of instruments. Students have their accuracy. When the final data required, you want immediate instant report, or you want maybe you will measure this, it will report after a certain time interval. So that is also depend upon the instrument's property. Cost criteria, you want some cheaper instrument or some uh, highly cost effective. So what form of a data displayed, right? Whether variable is constant or time variant. So these are certain guidelines, certain criteria on which the instruments properties, or you can say uh, instrument uh, properties or variety, it will depend. And basically that's the modification is required. uh, that's why we do the some modifications. So we have a statics characteristics of the instrument, that is a variable not varying with time. We define this as, if your variable is not varying with time, we can say this is a static characteristics of the instruments. What is characteristics? Characteristics basically we define as a accuracy. This is determined as the maximum amount of by which the result differ from the true value. So this is a plus minus error, you can say. And reproducibility, that is a very important feature of the any instrument. Means it should report the same value when we repeat the run. Repeat the run means, or you can say when you repeat the uh, same experiment. Just like, for example, let's say if you are measuring your BP, the blood pressure machine. So, if by the instrument, if you are measuring and it is reporting two, three values, means one time when you started, it is showing maybe 80, 100, some another time it is showing 90, 190, 120. So means this instrument is not good. So reporting any value is not good. It should be it should reproduce the value. So value repeatedly measure. Sensitivity. Sensitivity means ratio of output response to change in the input. So means how much if we do any change in the input, uh, it is showing in the output or not. So what sensitive is the instrument, that is basically known as the sensitivity of the instruments. So it is just you can say uh, taking care of any small variation in the input. Static error. So static error, you can say this is a instrument's reading. Basically it is true value plus static error. Means uh, this is, you can say, limitation of any instrument. So limitation of an instrument means whatever the true value it has, but this static error, it is always count with the reading. So this is the limitations of any instrument. So that is known as the static error. Drift. Drift is basically defined as this is a insidious quality, means spreading gradually or without being noticed but causing serious harm, right? Just like you can say the global warming. This is a spreading gradually, increasing temperature increasing gradually, and it is nobody is noting this, but it is causing serious harm. So this is known as the drift, or you can say this is a ramp kind of thing, where the things are changing gradually, very slow rate. So that is known as the drift. So most of the instruments, they show this property. Maybe at a particular temperature they have a not only the temperature, for all the variables they are showing, uh, you can say for the lower range, for the higher range, they have the some variation. So that is known because of the drift of the property. So the instrument should give the proper reading, accurate reading for all the range, but due to drifting, the values are differ. Dead zone. Dead zone means the largest range of the value of measured variable to which the instrument does not respond. Means the small changes, or you can say the in the beginning, or you can say in the end. If you are like, it may be the dead zone can exist in the starting or maybe at the end also. So in this range, there will be no as such any measurement from the instruments. Sometimes the values are so small, it is not responding. Instruments is not responding, and sometimes the values are so high. The instruments, this is beyond the sensitivity of the instrument. So that is known as the dead zone. So these are some characteristics of the instruments. Based on this, we have to take care, and we also report all these specification for a particular instruments. So we have these are basically, the earlier one was the some static characteristics. Now we have some dynamics characteristics also. Static means it is always with the instruments. Uh, it is in a stationary or static mode, right? In dynamic means this is when the instruments is measuring some values. Then we have also some problems or some limitations of the instruments. Just like dynamic characteristics of an instruments, we have, let's say, we can apply a different type of input signal, just like step change, linear, sinusoidal, right? So we have the speed of response. Speed of response means quickness of an instrument to read the measured variable. So this is come under the dynamic characteristics. Speed of response. Fidelity. Change in the measured variable without dynamic error. Measuring lag. Right? So that is basically the time interval. So we have this common variation because of the speed of response, fidelity, and the measuring lag. So this is the dynamic characteristics, and this come under dynamic characteristics of an instrument. Transducer. Transducer, we have already discussed this term. This is basically it convert mechanical signal to the voltage or current. We have a different type of transducer depending upon the variable. It may be pressure transducer, level transducer. We have a velocity transducer. So we apply based on the application. We apply a different type of transducer to the instrument. Indicator. Indicator also you can say this also come the dynamic characteristics. Indicator. Indicator means it is only representing the values that is in the current value, current form. Means indicator does not have any you can say consequences with the past record. So maybe the temperature thermometer, you can say it can show the value maybe 40 degrees centigrade. So it does not it is not we can say it does not come meaning that the earlier value cannot be 10 degree. Okay, so means it is only give the instant value that measured by the instrument. So we have basically different type of indicators like eccentric scale indicator, concentric scale indicator. We have a linear scale indicator. So I will show you some figures that can be better give you some idea about the indicator. Eccentric scale indicator, it means the scale will be like this only. So this is a particular section we have a reading and the indicator will show this kind of value. Right? This is eccentric scale indicator. Concentric scale indicator means we have, you can say the pointer or needle indicator, or even we have, it will move 360 degree and in the same time we have a different scales as a concentric. So you can also measure, even in your lab, you have seen that kind of gauge. In a pressure gauge, they have shown two type of readings. One is kg per centimeter square, and another one is psi. So you can by the same pointer, by the same needle, you can have a both value because the values are given in the concentric form, right? So we have a concentric scale, so when you can directly read the values from there, either in a different units form, you can say. Linear scale indicators, just like we have example like this, we have a linear scale and that will give you the measure. We have a recorder. Recorder, just like you can say, you have a recorder like circular recorder chart. So generally the informations are reported in this case in a circular form. So the recorder will rotate. It will rotate, and we have a needle. It is just almost, you can say, like a earlier gramophone kind of arrangement. So the needle will touch the recorder, and you can listen the music. So similarly here it will just needle will rotate, or needle will move, vibrate in this recording chart, and the values will be recorded. Next we have just like a step recorder chart. A strip recorder chart means it is just like you can have it just like a ECG machine. So whatever the data you have, it will give in the form of uh, in a strip. A strip means just like you can say you can see this kind of machine in a mall, and even the doctors, they plot the ECG of the patient with the same kind of arrangement. So the strips it will come out with uh, a values, or you can say values may be of different form. It may be different unit, different form, but the values will come out in a kind of vibrations. Okay, so we have a transducer, we have indicators, we have recorders, right? We have recorders, and then we have a different type of, let's say, start with the first the variable. We can start with the pressure. So pressure measurement, basically, you know, the we have a different type of pressure. In already you have seen this in your thermodynamics course. We have a absolute pressure, that is known as PA. We have a differential pressure, algebraic difference between the two pressure, that is known as the uh, differential pressure. Gauge pressure, basically this is a type of differential pressure where we have the in actual pressure. If we just subtract the atmospheric pressure, you have a gauge pressure. So that is the algebraic difference between the two pressure. Vacuum pressure means when the pressure is below the atmosphere, so this value comes out negative, you can say. Uh, Negative pressure basically indicated as a vacuum pressure. So measuring measuring instruments, we have a liquid column, how the pressure can be measured. So instruments can be different type. It basically depend upon the applications. We have a liquid column. Liquid column, you know, the manometer. This is a very basic instrument for the measuring pressure. Elastic pressure element, electrical device, electronic device. So I will show you the some diagram. So at least you will be familiar of how the things looks like. Uh, Basically, in our course, we have to look for the different type of instruments, and the working is almost similar. They have small variations, so we are not mainly focusing on the working of this, but at least you should know what types of instruments are available uh, for the control course. So in manometer, the first one, the liquid column manometer, you know, this is a U-tube manometer. It may be inclined manometer. We have a very, so these type of questions generally asked in the uh, gate also. So well type means here you can say the rise of the liquid level in the well is very small. So when you applied the pressure, this is basically arrangement, you can say, where we have a one large tank, another one is this is connected with the very narrow tube. So when the pressure is applied, so on the well, we call this large tank as a well. So when pressure is applied on the well, so there will be, maybe there is a minor change in the level of the well, or basically this is a reservoir, you can say. In your thermodynamics we define this as a reservoir. Reservoir means the capacity will not change, right? So uh, so that's why we also define this as a well where the level of this well will not change much, but whatever the small pressure, if you apply it to the well, you can see a change in the tube level. So this is very small, narrow tube, so you can see the change in the scale, so you can easily get the readings. rise of the liquid level in the well is very small compared to the negative, so H can be measured directly. Okay, so you know at least what is H rho G. So from the change in height, you know the what is the pressure here, right? And why we use this kind of instrument? This is basically mainly used when we have a very the variation in the pressure is very high, because in the industry this is the variation in the pressure vibrates very shoot very fast. So in that case there should be something that can absorb the shock, you can say. So that's why the well is used, and based on this we can say, okay, a small change we can easily measure. If there is a large, then by knowing the displacement of this well also, we can also talk about the pressure change. Next we have the Christian barometer. Christian barometer, this measures the absolute pressure. Narrow tube is evacuated and sealed. Here you can see the sealed is the tube is open, but in this case the tube is sealed. So we just evacuate this narrow tube, and we just sealed it. So you can say this is a modified version of this Christian barometer, and it can directly measure the absolute pressure. We have the fixed Christian barometer. Fixed crystal barometer is this measure the gas pressure directly, and this is a normal barometer, you can say, where this is a tank. In this tank we have a column, and this column is basically inverted, and when we apply the pressure, the level will increase in the column, and we can see how much height it will change. So this is a normal barometer. So whatever the pressure applied, this is known as a barometer reading. You can see the diagram. This is barometer reading. This is a reference line level, and this is the adjustable screw. So this is a fixed base. So that we fix the barometer in a some plane, and we can take a reading. We can take a reading of this level change. So this measures the gas pressure. We have some McLeod gauge also. McLeod gauge. This also works on this principle. You can say we have a mercury here, mercury reservoir, and this is all you can say some storage tanks. These are all attached with the storage tank, right? All the arrangement. Small modifications are only there. So we have the large tank, and this is a mercury large tank. Mercury large tank means it can absorb the very high pressure, right? So uh, we have the screw here, thread screw. So let's say if we applied some pressure here, so the level will go down. We have this kind of arrangement. It is connected to the bulb, and then we have the scale, and then it is connected to the mercury reservoir. So when we applied the pressure at this end, so this level will go down. So what we do, we just screw by this, we just give screw to this threaded screw. So we screw it, and when we screw it, it will go down, and we can see the level will be adjusted previously. So how much distance we screw the threaded screw, and based on this we can calculate the pressure. Okay, so this is basically some principles. Based on this it work. So this is a McLeod gauge. It is basically based on the principle of Boyle's law, just as P1 Vn equal to P2 V2, and it can be used for very low pressure also. Okay, so we have liquid manometer, we have the elastic pressure. We have elastic pressure next. So elastic pressure element means instrument use elastic pressure element. Elastic pressure means generally you can say we have some attached with the springs or that kind of arrangement, elastic property. So basically it converts pressure signal into proportional mechanical displacement as known as the transducer. So we have basically a different type of elastic pressure elements like a Borden pressure gauge, diaphragm pressure gauge, bellows pressure gauge, right? Now let's see. Basically in this all type of arrangement we are using the elastic properties. Elastic properties means when you stretch it, it will stretch. When you release the pressure, it will come into the original shape. So just like a Borden pressure gauge. In Borden pressure gauge, we have a tube, can be helix or a spiral. So we have basically this kind of tube, right? And in this tube, we have the scale. This is attached. This is known as a Borden tube, and we have some adjustable link that is attached with the spring. This is a spring, right? And we have the piston, and then the pointer is attached with the piston, and so you can see that this is a pivot, and as we apply a pressure, Borden tube pressure gauge. So as we apply some pressure here, it will push to this, then it will push to the this is pinion, and based on the spring will move. So the needle will move, so we can read the value. So this is known as the Borden tube pressure gauge. Movement of the free end of the tube is transmitted to a section through the adjustable connection link. Pointer gives the reading, reference pressure is atmospheric, so it measures the gauge pressure. So the open end, this is the open end, this is connected with the link, adjustable link. So when we insert the pressure, it will push to this, so there will be movement, so the needle will move and it will give the pressure. Next we have a diaphragm pressure gauge. Diaphragm pressure gauge means this is a diaphragm. Diaphragm, basically this is a thin ductile material. This is a diaphragm. So diaphragm can be of different shape. I mentioned here few shape, that is depending upon the phase strength and deflection desired. So it is a disc shape, it can be flared, it can be corrugated. So diaphragm can be of different shape. Disc shape means it is like this. So we have this shape diaphragm, and it is attached to. You have already seen this diaphragm in your final control element, control valve, right? We have another type of diaphragm, like you can see here. We have a wide seal rim. We have a creasing spring. We have coil spring. We have flat spring. So we have a different type of diaphragm. So you can see that diaphragm. Okay, first let's see different type of diagram. So diaphragm, so that we can then we can talk about this principle. So we have a flat already. We have disc shape, and then we have flat. Then we have this is a flat type. This is a flat type. This is a flat type, and we have a corrugated means we have like this, right? We have a corrugated means we have the you can see the diaphragm, or you can see different, that is you can say the spring kind of arrangement. So corrugated diaphragm will have 4 types, and the deflection of the flat type, right? So 4 times the deflection of the flat diaphragm. Generally material we use brass. It can have a pressure range of 0.35 to 15 kilogram per centimeter square, right? And we use this air to open, air to close, all these kind of final control wall element. When you set the manually, you set the pressure regulator, so set point adjusted, turned out more pressure, so we can apply more pressure also, right? This is a diaphragm, this is a thin line, this is a diaphragm, right? And so we have a regulated air pressure output here, and this is the air supply. So when you just apply the air supply, this is air to close, and you just give the air supply, it will just move upward, so it will close the path, right? Right, and we have here, we have the vent here, we have the pressure signal input, volume boosters, so it is just increasing the volume. Okay. So basically, depending upon the different shape, we have a different type of diaphragm, and that is used in a control valve. So the next we have bellows pressure gauge. Bellows pressure gauge, this is also based on the elastic principle, and it can be expanded or contracted by the application of the pressure or vacuum, right? So here you can see that uh, depending upon the pressure, when you apply the pressure, it will just expand or contract the arrangement, and based on this arrangement, you can you can see the readings in the scale. This is a pointer, so uh, we have the readings. So basically, it is this kind of arrangement, right? We have a pressure. These are basically two different type of diagram. We're working on the same principle. So these are all belows, and when you just pressure, it will insert, it will just push to this spring arrangement, and you can see the change in the reading. Similarly here, the pressure will insert, and it will just push the spring, and you can see the change in the reading. Okay, so instruments which use electrical device. Now the next we have the electrical device properties. So actually, in all these cases, you have to at least know the names. Just like elastic pressure element, we mentioned few instruments. At least you should just know the name. This is a barometer, right? And we have the diaphragm, carbureted. We have the bellows pressure gauge. So these are all come under this category. So at least you just remember the name, in what category we have. So instrument which use the electrical device. Now the next, this is basically we have the magnitude of current, the rate at which heat is dissipated by conduction, convection, or radiation. So magnitude of current, basically when the electricals comes means current come. So how the current change, based on this we can say the pressure, we can measure the pressure. So if current is constant, then temperature will depend upon the heat dissipation. Conductivity, conduction of media, right? When temperature is constant, current is constant, means the temperature will depend upon the heat dissipations. Means we are getting a constant source of heat, and how much heat we are dissipating, it depends upon the conductivity or conduction, you can say, of media, density of media, or you can say simply the pressure. So this fundamental principle means the surrounding pressure will decide, or you can say the surrounding will decide how much current or how much heat will dissipate. So that is basically in terms of your electrical. So let's say, for example, if pressure decrease, conductivity decrease, wire become hotter for same current. If there is a less pressure, and there is a less conductivity also. So it means whatever the surface we have, and we have the, let's say, the surface is heated by the uh, constant current is constant. So if we have a low pressure means low surrounding gas, right? And conductivity is also very poor. So we have a we have a less surrounding gas, and conductivity is also poor. So there is no dissipation of the heat. So wire will be get more heated. So for given current, temperature of the wire directly depend upon the pressure, right? So based on this, we have two type of instrument. One is known as a Pirani gauge, other one is thermocouple gauge. So Pirani gauge means it measure a pressure of 22,000 micron mercury, and that is basically, I mentioned this link also from where I taken this, and they have discussed more detail of that Pirani gauge. What is the basic fundamental, uh, and how it is very how it works, because this is basically based on the Wheatstone bridge. We already know this is a Wheatstone bridge, and Wheatstone bridge is basically four resistance that connected in a some parallel series arrangement, and based on this the current will change. So the whole detail is given in this link. I mentioned this, but here in our point of view, you must know that the Pirani gauge, this is useful for measuring the pressure up to this range, and we can measure the vacuum to be measured, and filament, the temperature can exist, or you can say less than 300 degrees centigrade. So we have the filament, this is a platinum filament, and we supply the power. We have a two type of cell. One is a compensating cell, other one is this is when we applied the pressure, right? The measuring cell with the Pirani gauge chamber. So based on this, we can calculate the pressure, right? So at least you should know the name Pirani gauge. That is useful for the electricals. That is measure the pressure, even the vacuum pressure. This is a very important point. You can measure the vacuum, okay, by the electrical current. So thermocouple pressure gauge, thermocouple gauge case, it is basically vacuum compression by the thermocouple gauge. You can say it measure the EMF. EMF means electromagnetic force, and we calibrate this based on this. You can see this is some electrical signal supply, and we calibrate the resistance, and through this some EMF generated, and that we measure the EMF, and based on this we can report about the pressure. Here I mentioned a few points. Just like thermocouple attached at the middle of the each resistor will develop an EMF which is proportional to the temperature difference of the junction. So this EMF is proportional to the pressure of the potentiometer, which is used to measure the EMF is calibrated in the terms of pressure, right? So EMF is basically used. This is proportional to the pressure of the potentiometer, and through this we can directly measure the EMF that is in the calibrated form, right? So, and here we have some thermocouple or thermometer is attached, so that will give the reading. So yes, yeah. Now the third one, we have the instrument use the electronic device. This is most popular because they have the properties. They are using the properties of electron emitted at the cathode by thermionic emission attracted towards the grid. So electron emitted the cathode by the thermionic emissions. So we are using this kind of principle. So pass through the grid towards the plate. So when the electron generate, it pass through the plate. This is basically a grid plate. So ions are formed by collision of the electrons with the molecules present in the tube. So basically we have a different type of ions formed by colliding of the electrons with the molecules present in the tube. So we have a different type of device. One is a hot filament ionization gauge, cold cathode ionization gauge, radioactive ionization gauge. Okay, so let me explain. Hot filament ionization gauge, it means electron emitted at the cathode by the thermionic emission attracted towards the grid. So then we have the hot filament, so electron will emit through this at the cathode by thermionic emission, right? And ions are formed by collision of the electrons with the molecules of the gas present in the tube. So whatever the how much amount of ion will basically form, it depend upon the amount of gas present in the tube. So positive ions are collected by the one plate as the current positive ions current exists. Amount of iron current in the proportional to the amount of gas present provided in the electron current is constant. So similar way may you can say hot cathode ionization gauge. Here you can see that when connection to the vacuum chamber, we have basically a grid, and here we have a hot wire electron emitter. So electron will emit from here and it will collect to the grid. Higher wire, hot fine wire ion collector. So it will collect the ions. So based on ions collected, we have a amplifier and it will give the gauge reading, pressure reading. So amount of iron current is proportional to the amount of gas present provided the electron current is constant. So the electron to the grid is maintained by the grid current, and so cannot use the measure above 2 micron mercury because of the probability of the burning out of the element. So we can measure only 2 micron mercury, and it can be used to conjunction with the Pirani gauge is used to measure the pressure above 2 micron mercury. So we can use this instrument with a conjunction with the Pirani gauge also, if you want to measure the more than 2 mercury. So can also measure the absolute pressure or inert gas like oxygen, CO2 and H2O. We can also measure the absolute pressure of inert gas like oxygen, CO2 and H2O. So this is an important line. Which type of instrument is used to measure the inert gas? So we have oxygen, CO2 and H2O, right? The next we have the cold cathode ionization gauge. First one was the hot. Here we have a cold cathode. So basically two parallel flat plates as a cathode and the cylindrical anode. We have two parallel plates and a high voltage is maintained between the anode or cathode, between the electron will discharge ions, right? So we will maintain high voltage. So at low pressure, the probability of these electrode colliding with the molecules and ionization are very less if we have a low pressure. To overcome this difficulty, the gauge is placed between the poles of the electromagnet, so the magnetic field is at the right angle of the plate. So we maintain the electromagnetic plate also NS. So we have the electric magnet in the perpendicular direction, so right angle of the plate, and the electron to make towards the anode cylinder in a helical path. So electron will move like a helical path. Ionization molecule gas, even though that are very few numbers. So we can measure the pressure that is of the range of 10⁻³ to 10⁻³ mmHg. So hot cathode ionization gauge, this is used to measure a particular this range of the gas, pressure of the gas. Next, we have the radioactive ionization gauge. Radioactive means we have a radio material. This is basically a source. When it is placed in a airtight chamber, so it emits the alpha particle, right? Ionized gas particle. So similar to the thermionic gauge, right? How many alpha particle will be generated? It depends upon the how many, what is the pressure inside the chamber. So it can also measure the range up to 10⁻³ to 10 micron mercury, right? So radioactive ionization gauge is also similar type. Now we have the next is temperature measurement. Temperature measurement means we have a thermometer, glass tube, bimetallic thermometer, modern tube thermometer, thermocouples, thermopiles, and resistance thermometer, pyrometer. So I think